Why did Charlie Chaplin's bold satire in The Great Dictator shock America so much that it led to his exile? Charlie Chaplin was not just a star, but a global phenomenon, one of the most influential figures in the history of cinema. As the greatest icon of the silent film era, he shaped how we tell stories and create laughter on screen without a single spoken word. His little Tramp character became an enduring symbol, a down-on-his-luck gentleman, with a bowler hat, tight coat, baggy trousers, and oversized shoes. With his signature bamboo cane, the Tramp wandered through cities carrying tragedy and compassion behind his comedic antics. However, behind his artistic genius lay a life riddled with controversy. Chaplin was not only a comedian, but also a bold political voice, unafraid to use his films to critique social issues like inequality, capitalism, and war. This outspokenness, combined with personal scandals, made him a target of public backlash and a decades-long FBI investigation. His complex relationship with politics and public opinion reached a breaking point, and ultimately one of the 20th century's greatest artists was denied re-entry to the United States, forcing him into exile, a tragic chapter in his illustrious career. Charlie Chaplin's remarkable life began from a place of tragedy. Born on April 16, 1889, in a poor South London neighborhood, he grew up in poverty without an official birth certificate. His parents were music hall performers, but their lives were fraught with hardship. His father was a heavy alcoholic who died early, and his mother was admitted to a mental asylum in 1898. These harsh experiences deeply shaped Chaplin, becoming the wellspring of the tragedy and compassion he later infused into his roles. To survive, Chaplin began working at a young age. He debuted on stage at age 5 and quickly revealed his natural talent. By 9, he joined a clog dancing troupe, and by 13, he starred in the popular play Sherlock Holmes. Recognizing his path, Chaplin abandoned formal education to dedicate himself to entertainment, joining Casey's Circus in 1906. The turning point came at 19 during his first U.S. tour, catching the eye of film producers and leading to his recruitment by Keystone Studios in 1914, opening the door to a legendary career that lifted him from London's poverty. After joining Keystone Studios, Charlie Chaplin swiftly created the character that defined his legacy. The Little Tramp debuted in Kid Auto Races at Venice in 1914, instantly making a strong impression. Soon after, he directed his first film, Caught in the Rain, showcasing that his talent extended beyond acting. Recognizing his potential, Chaplin moved to larger studios like SNA, 1915, and Mutual Film Corporation, 1916. Here he gained the freedom to refine his character, masterfully blending slapstick comedy with pathos and compassion, making the Tramp a symbol that transcended language barriers. Chaplin's fame skyrocketed. By 1915, he became the world's first international movie star. His fame led to a $1 million contract with First National in 1917. Seeking full control over his work, Chaplin co-founded United Artists in 1919 with leading filmmakers Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffith. This bold move enabled him to produce classics like The Vagabond, The Immigrant, and A Dog's Life, which fearlessly tackled social issues like poverty and injustice. As his fame peaked, Chaplin unhesitatingly used cinema as a tool to express his political views. His films were not just entertainment, but sharp critiques of societal issues. The Kid 1921 addressed wealth disparity, while Modern Times 1938 humorously indicted the dehumanizing effects of industrial life, criticized by some as anti-capitalist. However, Chaplin's boldest political statement came with The Great Dictator, 1940, his first sound film. A daring satire of Adolf Hitler and fascism. Its final speech, a passionate call for peace and humanity, became one of cinema's most memorable moments. This outspokenness made Chaplin a target of U.S. authorities. Amid post-Russian Revolution fears of communism, the FBI, led by J. Edgar Hoover, launched a prolonged investigation into his activities. Though never a Communist Party member, Chaplin was perceived as a sympathizer, sparking a fierce backlash that severely damaged the image of one of the world's most beloved artists. Beyond political controversies, Chaplin's public image was heavily tarnished by personal scandals. His romantic life was fraught with controversy, particularly his tendency to marry teenage girls. He wed 4 times, with 3 of his first wives being very young at the time of marriage: Mildred Harris, 16 in 1918, Lita Gray, 16 in 1924, and Paulette Goddard, 22 in 1936. His final marriage to Una O'Neill, 18 in 1943, brought stability and happiness, but earlier marriages fueled public criticism. In 1943, a high-profile paternity suit erupted when actress Joan Barry claimed Chaplin was the father of her child. The scandal rocked his reputation. Simultaneously, he faced charges of violating the Mann Act, a federal law prohibiting the transport of women across state lines for immoral purposes. Though acquitted in both cases, these scandals, combined with his non-U.S. citizenship, cost him public support. These personal troubles, coupled with suspicions about his politics, created a wave of outrage in American society, making Chaplin an easy target for those seeking to bring him down. By the late 1940s, Chaplin's public image in America had plummeted. His film Monsieur Verdoux, 1947, a dark comedy satirizing capitalism, was a commercial and critical flop, further alienating audiences. That same year, he was summoned by the House Un-American Activities Committee (HUAC), signaling that authorities were targeting him. There, he denied being a communist, but called himself a peacemonger, a defiant statement seen as a challenge to America's anti-communist fervor. Tensions reached a climax in 1952. While Chaplin traveled to London for the premiere of Limelight, the U.S. Attorney General barred his re-entry, accusing him of communist sympathies and moral turpitude. Faced with this ban, Chaplin chose not to return to the U.S. and settled in Switzerland with his family, ending his 40-year Hollywood career. Though far from the film capital, he continued making films in Europe, producing works like A King in New York, 1957, and A Countess from Hong Kong, 1967, marking a new chapter in his life and career. After 2 decades in exile, Charlie Chaplin was finally recognized in the land of his career's foundation. In 1972, he returned to the U.S. to accept an honorary Oscar for the incalculable effect he had on making motion pictures the art form of this century. His return was met with a 12-minute standing ovation, an emotional moment marking reconciliation with Hollywood. 3 years later, in 1975, he received further honor when Queen Elizabeth II knighted him. Charlie Chaplin passed away on December 25, 1977, at his home in Switzerland after a stroke. He was buried locally, concluding a tumultuous yet legendary life. His legacy endures. As a pioneer of cinema, he created an immortal character and comedies with profound meaning. His Great Dictator speech remains a powerful, timeless message. Moreover, Chaplin's legacy was further clarified by declassified FBI files in 2017 and 2019. These documents confirmed that his persecution was excessive and unjust. He was not a communist, but an idealist and artist who dared to use his voice to advocate for compassion and peace. Charlie Chaplin's life is a singular story, an epic drama from rags to riches, from a London street child to Hollywood's most beloved icon, and ultimately an exiled artist. His life is not just a cinematic legend, but a mirror reflecting the dark sides of his era, exposing the limits of power, political fanaticism, and societal hypocrisy. Chaplin's Exile in 1952 became a powerful symbol of McCarthyism's excesses and the anti-communist witch hunts in the U.S. While the government sought to destroy him, this inadvertently made him a martyr for free speech and artistic independence. His case helped the public realize that fear of the Red Scare led to irrational persecutions that ruined innocent lives. By openly siding with the underdog and using his voice to oppose tyranny, Chaplin proved that art could be a weapon stronger than any propaganda. Chaplin's legacy lies not only in his silent comedies that transformed cinema, but also in the humanistic messages that remain relevant today. His Great Dictator speech is not just a stand against fascism, but a timeless manifesto on the importance of compassion. In an era where greed and technology can dominate, his words awaken the conscience of millions. Though gone, Chaplin's words and works continue to resonate. He left behind a monumental legacy showing that the fight for human values is an unending battle. His life reminds us that kindness, gentleness, and compassion are what truly matter. At the film's end, the little tramp said, "More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness." This is not just a film's closing line, but the essence of Charlie Chaplin's life and career. He lived, worked, and fought tirelessly to uphold these values, turning his personal suffering into inspiration for a better world.